There are numerous amounts of undocumented immigrants within our country, about 11 million to be exact. These immigrants must hide within the shadows because if they come out, they might get deported and they're scared to get deported. How would you feel if you too had to hide your true identity in order to not get deported? Hypothetically speaking, how would you feel? You wouldn't like it, right? And you'd be scared to, right? Exactly, that's what I thought. Hello, everybody. My name is Luis Galvez, and I hope that you all are having a fine evening. Author Jose Antonio Vargas creates an article known as "My Life as an Undocumented Immigrant." He publishes his article on June 22nd, 2011, and it's from the New York Times Magazine. In his article, he goes over how he illegally got smuggled into the United States, and in order for him to have a better life here. But he was unaware of the fact that he was undocumented until he went to apply for his driver's license. When he applied for it, he found out that he was undocumented. Then for the rest of his life, and I don't know about now because he doesn't say this in his article, he used false documents in order for him to build his profession in journalism. But these false documents sometimes created problems because as time went on, companies started to use e-verifications to verify if the documents you were using were legit or not, and this created problems within his life. Um, the author's purpose for this article is to both inform and entertain the reader about the daily lives of undocumented immigrants. He shows how they are very limited. They are very limited to the resources around them because, excuse me, sometimes they cannot speak the language to get some of the things that they want, and they don't have the proper documentation for them to get good paying jobs. Some of the main ideas that I found within the article were that the author shows the hardships that undocumented immigrants face in their daily lives. For Vargas, it was he had to go in and out from different jobs because of his documentations. He never had the proper documentations in order to get a job where he could stay at for a long period of time without being caught with false documents. Another main idea that I found within the article was that you cannot run away from your problems. You just can't because if you run away, you'll never solve the issues in your life. Vargas always hid the fact that he was undocumented from his employers and his classmates in college because he knew that he could possibly get bullied and that he could possibly get deported. And it's just something that made him feel so insecure that he just couldn't tell anybody. But I could understand that because it's just something that you're not comfortable to do. I also saw that sometimes you have to do what you have to do in order to reach your goals. For him, it was to obtain false documents to build his profession in journalism. He loved journalism. He went to college for journalism, though the thing was that to get a job in journalism, you need a proper documentation. Though he didn't have documents that belonged to him, he had false documents, and he had to use those false documents in order to reach his goal to become a better journalist. And without those documents, he wouldn't be the journalist he is today because with those documents, he went to numerous amounts of companies where he further enhanced his skills in journalism. Life experiences that I can relate to with him are with my cousins. My cousins are not from the United States. It saddens me because I know that they work very hard in jobs that I would not like to do. I know that one of them works in I believe catching chickens, and another one works in like roofing, and another one works in I believe hard lifting construction jobs. And it's not easy. I've worked with them at times, and I cannot do it. I just don't know how they do it. I don't know. They have to do this in order to meet the basics of life, to pay the bills, eat, That's really all they really live for here in the United States. But they want to. They I know that they want to go back to their countries, but they tell me all the time that if they ever go back, that there's nothing for them over there but violence and the corrupt economy. Um, Figurative language that I saw within the text was a positive connotation language. A positive connotation that I saw was undocumented immigrant. It's a phrase. It's an alternative phrase for illegal alien or an illegal immigrant. Using undocumented immigrant just sounds way better than illegal alien or an illegal immigrant. It just sounds way better because it could offend someone a lot more if you use illegal immigrant or an illegal alien. But if you use an undocumented immigrant, it doesn't really sound as bad as using the terms illegal alien or an illegal immigrant. So in a way, it can also be a euphemism. Another figure of language that I saw was the use of native language. Vargas, within his text, he cites when he speaks about his mother and what she says. He always states what she says in a Filipino language to symbolize his culture roots. He symbolizes his background, that he's not American, he's Filipino, and that he comes from the Philippines. Some of the things that I agree with in his article are that there wasn't really an argument to anything. It was just more of a life story, more of a biography of his life. But one of the things that I agree with was that it's best to come out with the truth, because if you don't, it could lead to so many more problems. You could get confronted by many people, get called a liar. So it's just better be honest, because sometimes people can understand where you're coming from, and they could make an effort to help you. Another one that I agree with is that undocumented immigrants live different lifestyles. They don't have normal lifestyles such as normal Americans, because they are limited to a lot of things around them, such as jobs, colleges, because they are not from here and they don't have the proper documentation to have a better lifestyle. One of the things that I absolutely do not agree with is fraud, because that's what Vargas did throughout his entire life. Sorry about that. He was involved in fraud throughout his entire life, and I think that is wrong. It's against the law, and I wouldn't allow it at all. I know that he had to do that, because if he didn't, he would have to live on the streets, or he would have to depend on his grandparents, who really didn't make a lot of money at the time. But at the same time, I disagree that you have to use false documents. You probably could have, as a child, you could have applied for some type of legal documentations, but he didn't really do that until he was an adult. So I disagree with false documentation. Some of the worldview that he has was that everything would be okay as long as he met the qualities of citizens, such as working hard, having reliance, and having a love for the country. Though he had that, but at the end it just didn't work out for him. One of the things that I found biased was in the text was that immigrants have it hard. Not all immigrants have it hard. I know immigrants who have it easy because they know people, they know American citizens that pay very well. So in a way, I found that biased, because not all undocumented immigrants have it easy. All in all, immigrants are symbolized as bad people, though people are unaware of how hard their lives can be at times. For Vargas, he points out that they are very limited to the resources around them, because in his life, documentation was always a problem. He had to use false documents to become the successful journalist he is today. The media blinds society by portraying them in like a negative way. They don't really point out the positive things. They sometimes do, but it's very rare sometimes. And it saddens me because I know that not I know that some of these immigrants want to become successful, but there are, in today's society, immigration is such a big deal that it is almost impossible to find a path towards citizenship. And in Vargas's, he never pointed out if he had a citizenship or not. He just ended with that he was still an undocumented immigrant. So to this day, I do not know if he became a U.S. citizen or not. But he he reminds us that not everybody um not everybody is like who they are portrayed to be. They are not. So like, illegal immigrants are not bad people. Not all of them are bad people. And the media just blinds us and from the truth. And they want that. They want to like brainwash us. My name is Luis Galvez. Thank you for your time.